again.
What's up? My name is Jeffrey Hilaire.
My name is Tuesday Bush. It's your boy Jalen Hales.
Yeah, these are the three former DC presidents and me, just a close friend of theirs. And, well, it's been a big battle that we've all been facing this entire last school year. So for those who don't know, they earned their positions as DC presidents when in the 2017 to 2018 academic year, they opened up 3 presidential positions, and each and every one of them won by tremendous numbers. Jalen won by 984, Tuesday by 1,116, and Jeffrey by 1,025. And those numbers equal 700 more votes than whoever got in second place. But then, after 2 months into their after 2 months into their presidency, they all got termination letters out of the blue and without any given reason. And we've been fighting to find out why they got terminated and fighting to make sure that what happened doesn't happen to any other students.
And wait, I'm gonna pause the video. Now, I hate to bring up old information, but here's the argument we've been saying. When the press reached out to DCSI over this, they said everything they do is in the interest of the students, but how in the world is it in the interest of the students to terminate the guys who the students decided would be best fit without explanation? DCSI then says the board of students that chose to terminate them were voted in by the students, trying to paint themselves as a student-elected board. Well, I hate to break it to you, but 3 of these positions had no other competition, and even if they did, 3 of you only won by a little over 100 votes. Even if you add up all those numbers, they don't come close to even one of their personal vote count numbers. Jay, Jeffrey, and Tuesday's positions were way more relevant than theirs, and the numbers of these 3 immediately supersede theirs. The argument the Board of Students is in the clear is utter garbage.
But as you'll see from some footage we now have, seems like they're still being resistant and we're not sure why. Seems like they're just clouding everything up, and they're trying to disguise that fact by having all sorts of events claiming that they're all for the best of students. It's just hard to believe when all of that happened, especially when you look at this petition. I mentioned it in a previous video, but at that point it was like 500 votes, and now it's up to 846. Plus they all have about 250 different votes that they have on file, adding to way more than the goal of 1,000. So anyway, why don't you guys tell us a little bit more about what it was like for 2 months over there?
Whatever you guys want to say.
Yeah, sure, I'll go first. The 2 months while we were in office, it was extremely difficult for us. Even just kind of starting out, when we were running for our positions, we had a lot of grief and a lot of pushback from, I would say, from management at that time. And going into office, at least for myself, I thought things would change. I thought that the main focus was for the students, and that we were all under the same umbrella to do what is necessary for the students. But then I realized a few weeks in that the focus wasn't the same as what I had, which was the students, because the students were the ones that voted me in. I noticed that there was a lack of enthusiasm towards some of the initiatives that we brought up, that we spoke to the students about. I noticed that even though we're not the ones who passed the final decision, for some odd reason there was always negativity that was put on us. But if we're the ones representing the students, then how is it possible that your representation has no voice? It makes no sense at all. The students put us there for a reason. The students wanted us to complete the year that we promised them, and unfortunately, the team that we were given to work with, just wasn't ready to work with us, or didn't want to. It's really, even months later, it's hard to believe that with a focus of 12,000 students, we were unable to convince the individuals that were working at the top to do better for us.
Yeah. One of their managers said right out flat to them that it was a courtesy that they were being involved in these situations in any shape or form. So think about that for a minute. I have a part of their contract that shows disciplining directors and executive officers. Basically, their grounds for termination, and there are 6 possible reasons for termination, according to the contract, that are allowed. Poor attendance at meetings, theft, fraud, or embezzlement of funds, failure to disclose a significant or obvious conflict of interest, breach of confidentiality, misuse of corporation property, and failure to perform their duties as specified in the corporation bylaws. Now, I don't know about you, but if they really did any of those things, then DCSI would have owned up to it by now. They would have had this to defend themselves with, but they haven't. And also, the next part says that the board can call a meeting to sanction or terminate a director or officer from the office only if one of these has been committed.
And I wanted to pause the video to elaborate on this for just a second. Their contract specifically states that the board can only call a meeting to discuss disciplinary action if one of the above grounds was committed. And they didn't. But the board called the meeting anyway. And Section C and D of 18.2 are also pretty revealing as to how DCSI violated their contract. You see, C says that the director or executive officer will be entitled to make representations called for the purposes of imposing sanctions. They weren't allowed to do that. Back on June 28th of 2018, there was a meeting that they weren't allowed to go in. They were even told by security that they couldn't go. And then the next day was the day of their termination letters. And then, even more importantly, we go to D, saying the director or officer, meaning J. Jeffrey and Tusay, will be entitled to give the corporation a statement giving reasons for opposing his or her removal as director or officer, if a meeting of the members is called for that purpose. Didn't happen, because they weren't allowed. I'm sorry, I'm just saying the truth. And DCSI is trying to avoid that by violating their contract.
And also, I'm gonna read just a few of the comments left by that petition. Kind of shocked, really. These three men were the only people to ever come up and talk to me during the elections process. They deserved it. And I am signing because after reading the articles, it seems there is no justification for this action, especially for all three to be dismissed. The fact that there was no reason for termination stated in the letter is also concerning. So, earlier back in February, we ended up protesting all of this a little. And you know something? DCSI was trying to pass through a bylaw that gave them even more rights, and they put up all sorts of posters around, and they had a big blowout at Durham College's The Pit, which is the main section of campus. Whereas we weren't actually allowed to say anything on campus. It was kind of going to be given as a disturbance or something.
One more brief pause to elaborate on this more. What I meant was that we were allowed to protest outside, but we were not allowed to bring our picket signs and our messages and our megaphone indoors. Whereas DCSI, they were able to bribe all these people with pizza and popcorn machines and big microphones wherever they pleased. If Durham College applied logic, then not only would we have been able to protest indoors, but more than that, we could have set up a ton of posters and we could have had a big speech in the pit all prepared and have an honest debate, an honest discussion with as big of an audience as we could have. Just like DCSI has always been able to have access to. It's completely unfair and undemocratic.
But we set up picket signs or banners, that's probably a better way of calling it. We had a megaphone and we were out in the cold for hours. That was quite the event. And then their former manager, Charles Wilson, the press reached out to him, and he said that our protest was much ado about nothing and rather insulting. He said that DCSI's done a ton of stuff this year, blah blah blah. But the main point is, the most concerning thing is, they were terminated, they still haven't owned up to it. We're worried that that's going to happen to the other students. And on the topic of Charles, we've been trying to confront him with this stuff a little bit. The most troubling thing is the fact that this petition was set up and 850 people signed it online and 1,100 people signed it total. And it seems like they've just been ignoring it. I really don't see how that is much ado about nothing. And you know what, I thought maybe he hasn't seen this, maybe he doesn't know completely what all of this is about. It's just that we wanted to confront him because we wanted to just let him see these numbers. And we wanted him to be able to look us and the rest of the students in the face and say that DCSI is still all for the students when it seems that a very big fraction of the students would oppose their actions. And also, just more or less, we wanted an apology, because I don't know about you, but after fighting, how long were you guys campaigning to earn the votes that you did?
So we campaigned for about 2 months, and the thing William was saying is the whole student association, we thought that at Durham College, the model that we ran with, the model that the school operates on, success comes first. That goes for all students at Durham College. So that means we're former students, and Tuesday is a student, where me and Jeffrey are moving back in position to become students at the college. So all in all, we are parts of the student body, we are alumni, and the school needs to make sure the students are doing right. We want fair and democratic process, and we were treated in an unfair manner and treated differently from everybody else. And to me, that's unfair. But ultimately, the thing is, even though we're in participants or not, our goal is to always serve our student body, to give them everything that they've been looking for and asking for. Because at the end of the day, I don't need to be your president, Jeffrey still needs to be your VP. But as long as we're here, we're fulfilling our promise that we promised to students, and that's to make sure the student voice is heard. And student voice was not being heard over at DCSI. There's a lot of things where we were fighting for students, but nobody was listening. There were just things happening just for the benefit of just other individuals, but what we signed up for, to make sure everything that students paid for, is that's what they're getting out of it. That's why we're here to this video, to make sure our voices are heard. And today, if student association wants to apologize, that's their own thing, but what we stand for is the student body, to make sure the student body being represented, they're being educated, they're being informed about things that's going on, and to make sure that the proper decisions are being made and the right people are there standing for the student body. That is a form of protest in a municipal level, democratic level, provincial level, whatever it is. We're here to stand for the students, because students are not just a number, they're people, they're individuals who came to school to make sure that whatever they're doing right now, they're bettering themselves, go back to society and make it a better tomorrow for the people that they work with, but also their family and friends. And that's why we're here fighting for the students and making sure that right is right and wrong needs to be confronted and answered to, so we can make corrections and work together for a better tomorrow.
The students of Durham College are people. Jalen, Jeffrey, and Tuesday are people. And it just seems like DCSI, yes, it's being run by people, but it seems to be running as a corporation. And so, yes, we came over to the DCSI building with cameras because we wanted to document whatever reaction Charles had to this petition and the notes that we had about how everyone was opposed to their firing, as well as the part of the contract that we feel they violated. There's also more parts of the contract that are being looked into as we speak, but the point is, we just wanted to confront him because he had a big say in not just their termination. Well, he was part of the board when they were terminated, but also he's also been at a ton of other DCSI events, and after his comments about how our protests were much ado about nothing, we felt that he was the proper one to talk to. So we went up to their building back on Friday, and he wasn't there. I mean, maybe he just had something to do, but we ended up tracking him down to the pit, and so we got some footage, and I wanted to show it for a second.
But we won't dwell on that. Just we feel like
I did not give my permission.
So we dropped it.
That's fair. I'll take Willie.
okay. Just there are some things that we just feel we really need to just. Have you seen this petition? It was set up a little while, actually back in August.
I'm not able to provide comment on that.
Well, 846 people.
I'm not able to provide comment on that.
It's really in the interest of the students.
I'm not able to provide comment on that.
Not able or unwilling. Because ignoring 846 people, not really showing promise as a student leader. But it goes on. Not a single thing, not even.
It's a matter currently before the courts. I'm not able to provide any comment.
Okay, well, is it okay if you can at least just tell us a bit more about this court stuff so that we know what we're talking
It's a
about
matter of public record. You need to get that just like
from the court?
Yeah, I feel comfortable. I'm sure. I don't know if they've asked.
Okay, thanks.
I wasn't asked. Yeah.
Fair enough.
We then finished up our tape, and I know I look kind of unhappy, but the truth was I wasn't. The thing is, I kind of look unhappy whenever I'm thinking very carefully. I could tell Charles didn't have a single excuse he could give us, especially in the face of 846 votes, so he tried to hide behind some sort of legal proceeding. My only question is this: if we were protesting these exact same things, which we were, and then he was able to call our protest much ado about nothing and insulting, but he can't comment about the 846 people, well, that paints a good picture of who he is and what his institution stands for if they're behind him on this.
And speaking of him not being able to say something, there's a reason that I've been saying most of this stuff, and it's because that J. Jeffrey Tuesday are limited to what they're able to say.
Yeah, the reason I was speaking to Charles and not them is because they didn't have the right to talk to him. And to be honest, they're a lot better than me at speeches. The three of them dominate the screen with their words every time. I know I look like the leader in this video, but it's the exact opposite.
And, I understand that that is court proceedings. It's just that it's now April, and they were terminated back in August. I feel that this process should speed up, because this seems like a very simple matter. It seems like DCSI violated their contract, and they've been ignoring thousands of students.
DCSI knew that if their board went up against these three guys in a debate, then the board would end up losing in about 15 seconds. So what they've done is purposefully put this issue into a legal battle that is, and I quote, much ado about nothing, because they know the proceeding will take so long to the point of everyone not being as interested anymore, and disguising what they're doing by saying it's a matter of court.
We just wanted to do that confrontation so that we could take these numbers, take all of this stuff that we've been talking about all year, and just give it to the man, And so, I don't know what is going to happen in the next academic year, but something? I feel like we've all fought as hard as we could, and we've proven something. We really have. And so, whatever happens, I know that we're going to keep fighting, and whatever happens, we're going to be successful in as many ways as we can. And is there anything else you guys wanted to add?
We will definitely be successful. We'll make and bring change, show people anything is possible. Tuesday has some stuff we want to say.
Generally, this is all going to show you guys that you guys can all fight for a bigger cause. Like, just because you guys are students doesn't mean you guys' voices will never be heard. As long as you guys take the effort to stand up for what's right, your voices will be heard. It may not be heard from the masses, but there will be a few justified people that will help out for whatever cause you need to bring up. So don't forget to fight the good fight.
Yes.
What I have to say is, no matter who you are, no matter what your identity is, what you have to say matters. And that's the biggest thing, that we all have to make sure we understand that as individuals, everything you have to say and how you feel and what happens to you, it matters. So I encourage everyone to fight for everything that you can. If people are trying to put a foot down on a situation where you feel it's important, you gotta fight for that. We've done what we can, and we're never gonna give up. We're gonna keep fighting for the students, and we're gonna keep showing everyone how it is to be an individual, and how it is to love yourself, and to also put your ideals and morals first.
And so, whether or not they passed a bylaw that we've been fighting against, something written in paper is one thing, and the actions that you're able to do is another thing. So whether or not they've given themselves more rights and hoodwinked their votes past, all I can say is that we're still fighting for any and all students elected into positions at DCSI, and anyone who is elected, I encourage you to not sit down and stand up for everything that you and the students believe in. They were voted in because they had ideas the students really wanted, and they had the capacity and they had the honor to walk around and talk directly to them. So yeah, thanks for watching our video, and we hope to see you again soon.
Believe in yourself.
Thank you very much for watching our video, and please subscribe to Jay, Jeffrey, and Tusay's YouTube channel, GIG Life, aka God is Good Life. The three of them have managed to accomplish stuff that I never could have done in my wildest imagination. DCSI may have taken their dreams to be leaders of the students and crushed that dream, but they're still fighting, and I feel really honored to be right alongside them. And I hope that whoever you are, you continue to stand up for the rights of your friends and family, and students if you're still in school, and just treat everyone the way you want to be treated. We're going to continue fighting no matter what happens. Not today, DCSI, and never again.